see the way we see it at HP, our partners and customers have been affected, but at the same time, they demonstrated a high level of resilience. We identified different level of challenges according to every country specific needs. So we see difference between country to country, definitely. Some have really grown business during this tough period. Some managed a high level of resilience and maintained the business, while very few still flat. During that COVID situation, which is not yet over, we've seen changes in the dynamic of the business, but we're still available as HP. We managed to adapt quickly and get the best of the situation. For example, we have the remote management, remote installation, virtual demo and training. So these tools help us a lot with the partners, to overcome the current situation. In addition, we have what's called the virtual booth, which I encourage you and everyone who will attend that webinar later to go and visit it. That's the way we see it, and thank you.
So do you see any lasting changes because of the experience that you gained during the COVID-19 pandemic?
As we said, the remote management, remote installation, virtual demo and training, which is we start doing it, it will be part going in line with, let's say, with the physical installation or physical training. So this thing, we see it will go, not replacing maybe on the short run, but it will continue in parallel.
Okay. Shihab, would you like something to add to the topic?
Yeah, of course. I mean, COVID is affecting everybody, of course, and nobody can say it's not affected our business. But like any other crisis, I would say always these crises and issues that we have is also having its benefit and opportunities. We gain a lot of experience from remote management, remote training, virtual training, also to understand the needs and how we can offer our customers and with this challenging time, how we can offer them a better solution. Actually, we found there's a lot of surveys happen during these days, especially after the COVID, and we found also the way of people and our customers, how they are changing the way of thinking and the way of doing the business. According to a survey, that's around 89% people there now really care about now sustainability and let's say a better, a greener and better sustainable product and technologies, which is maybe it was not really popular in our region before. I would say, especially in our region, when I speak about the Middle East, people now they think about the energy, about the CO2s, and about all the effects that we have our machine that we are causing using it. So I think it's an opportunity for us. We saw some of the market segment are really growing, to be honest, in the COVID, which is very strange, but we understood the reason why after we dig a little bit and we understand the reason. Some of the segment, of course, are I would say affected more than others. Like, for example, the photo market, like especially we have Canon here, and understand like people, they're not using a lot of photo anymore, because photo is mainly coming from, let's say, wedding, education, or traveling and tourists, and these are all the segment which is the most affected during the COVID. So to summarize it, I think COVID, it was a very challenging year, or the COVID year, I would say, like 2020, but it's creating a lot of opportunity, and we have to think all together as an industry leaders, I would say, how we can offer our customers a better solution to overcome these challenges with our customers. And this is what we did actually in the last year, and we are continuing doing that.
Okay, great. Philip, how did this pandemic impact your business? What are your thoughts?
Yes, it has certainly impacted in quite a drastic way. And if I can maybe look at it both two things on a practical way, you get less face-to-face interaction with customers. There's less physical interaction. It's more remote. You have more online meetings, as was said, but also you have less demos and less sample printing. There's less of these type of requirements. And I think but the second aspect, which is more crucial, is this short-term versus long-term approach. I think the whole world, and certainly our industry, has gone from a long-term approach, from long-term view, into a shorter term outlook. I mean, pretty much all of us here have got the virus, and or have got. I've gotten. I think I know some of you have gotten the virus. I did, and it changes your outlook on life. Suddenly you realize that something as small as an invisible virus can threaten your own life, your life of your colleagues, etc. And I think the whole world has changed from looking at long-term investment into short-term investments. We are now seeing people focusing on short-term investments, short-term outlook. And I can give you an example, which I think will not offend anybody in this room. But take Mimaki. Mimaki is a great brand, but we are seeing a lot of people who used to buy Mimaki as a known brand shifting to different brands, to lesser known brands. That's one example. So basically looking at cheaper investments, shorter outlook, shorter term outlook in life. This is what we feel is happening.
Okay. Thanks, Philip. Ayman, what's happening at Canon? How did this impact you?
Actually, I think the team here covered most of the points. I'll take it from customer point of view. Actually, what happened, how this pandemic affected the customer, because again, the customer, we are all here because of the customer. So I think the shock that we all had made every one of us and the customer and our customers as well review their priorities and how they look at the business, to be honest. So now, for example, financing became a big demand for customers, because everyone during the pandemic was after the top priority of cash flow. Everyone was after maintaining a healthy cash flow, because transactions stopped, business almost stopped for almost 3 months all over the world. So cash flow was a big challenge. So now the customers even stayed after that to think about cash flow serviceability as well. Customer now is, when we talk to him, like, if I'll go back to lockdown, what I'm going to do? What kind of tools that you will help me with? Total cost of ownership as well, because before, when the market was good, business was good, the customer is okay to adapt new technologies just to try it, or to add another machine because volumes are good. But now the customer is very critical in how this machine will help me, when I can make return on investment of this machine. So a lot of questions now that we are witnessing with the customer, that requires from us as a vendors and manufacturers to adapt with this and to cope with this. Yes, pandemic affected the market size. I think most of the printing categories was affected heavily from market size. But the good thing, just before the second wave, if I may say, that I witnessed in digital printing part some recovery of volumes towards Q4 last year, faster than other printing equipment, like, for example, office copiers and so. That gives an indication that digital printing is positive, not positively affected, but is recovering faster. We witnessed some big shift as well from offset traditional volume to digital, because again, the pressure on runs and short runs moved good volume to digital. We witnessed as well that commercial inkjet now people are considering, because to take a decision to buy a big offset machine with big investment, do we still have the volume that and the runs that can justify, or we need some agility and fast turnaround solutions that can help us to cover this. So I think, as overall, we learned a lot from last year. We were impacted because business size was impacted, volumes were dropped across. But we witnessed as well that many customers stayed with their technology. However, in some areas, I give and I think the team Shihab and Halim can comment as well, might be the size of roll-to-roll, for example, of the market dropped. But we witnessed some customers grew their volumes due to a higher demand for advisory signage and distancing and so on. Yes, customer didn't buy the machine, but we witnessed some growth in volumes especially in this area as a result of pandemic. So it was a mixed impact. Some was positive, some was not really impacted in a positive way. But I think the experience and 2021 with what we got and learned and adapted as well from service and support and remote service, and I think the team talked about now it is a must. Used to be an optional or something nice to have. Now it is a must to support the customer remotely and to give the right and to keep the machine up and running all times during lockdown or after lockdown and so on. So yeah, it was a big year and we learned a lot and we adapted a lot. And the good thing as well that proved that digital printing in specific is a good potential area, that I think all the brands invested in new technologies during the pandemic. I witnessed so many technologies launched in the middle of the pandemic that shows that there is trust in the printing. Still, printing is a big industry and it's not dying as we are expecting fast. Digital printing is very promising as well. So this we witnessed as well, and this shows commitment from vendors and shows positive hopes in the printing industry in general.